Clap. There we go. All right, what the fuck's up, dude? We are here. Another episode of CLSTL Show, and we hit the big time now because we have...
Not even close.
Oh, you're crazy, bro. You're doing great things.
Thanks, man.
We got Shades of Blue.
What up?
Cheers, applause, everything. What do I do with mine?
We should start inserting sounds.
Yeah, I have... Oh, I don't have that enabled. Thank God. It's fine. It would have been like a blowhorn or some shit like that.
So what made you guys decide to start a podcast?
Good question. So basically, God, I can go on for a while about this, but so in music, you're always competing for people's attention for like 3 minutes or something, like when you're doing a single. I listen to a lot of podcasts, I listen to a lot of music, and I don't know a lot of bands that I like that have long form type of
smart.
things.
Yeah.
And also like I know so many musicians in LA who, you know, even like being where I'm at or where we were when we first started this, it's like I just want to build more of a community, I guess.
Yeah.
And like, you know, you can play shows together and all this stuff, but like podcasting is just a really cool way to get to know people that I wish I had access to as a kid. Like
Right.
I would like go crazy over like an interview with like my favorite band or something on YouTube, and it would be like, you know, 5 minutes long or something like that.
Right.
But now you have podcasts, and every now and then you'll have like, I don't know, I know this band like Suicide Silence. They're like a death metal band, and they have a podcast. I thought that was pretty cool. I didn't find out until after we started ours, but I don't know. I was just thinking, okay, if we're competing for 3 minutes of people's attention for music, like that's great. But if we can get people listening to the podcast, then it can kind of help us grow as musicians, help other people grow, and just kind of build more of like a community type thing. So,
Yeah, that's sick.
yeah.
That's actually really smart.
Well, it's very fun. It's really, really easy, to be honest. And it's fun because like it's a good way for people to get to know us and like follow us from the beginning.
Right.
Like we just started putting on music. I think we were doing the podcast before we officially released anything.
Yeah, except our one single.
Yeah, We Are Not Alone, which is pretty cool. But yeah, it was just like, and Neal was out of town too. So Neal was back in New York for like 4 months this summer. And we just finished an album, and it was kind of like sitting around like, all right, what the fuck are we supposed to do? You know, and I was just chilling with Flo. And I was like, you want to start a podcast? He's like, sure. And if you listen to like the first one, it's like, like we talk so fast and it's like 40 minutes and I'm just like, yeah, and then this, and then this, and this.
Yeah.
And now it's like kind of gotten pretty cool. We've gotten better at it, and it's been fun.
It's very natural.
Yeah.
I feel like I would space out a lot. You know what I mean? If I had to like be responsible for doing like, you know what I mean? I'd be like, I don't know. It's a difficult, talking for a long time in front of a camera.
It's a skill.
Yeah.
It's a skill.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We make good banter, I feel like. Like John is good at keeping the conversation going, and while he's doing that, I'm like formulating questions in my brain.
Nice.
I'm doing like hardcore maths
Oh, yeah.
in my mind, like, what do I ask? And then the moment passes. I'm like, fuck.
Nice. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and the thing that about it is too, it's like you just want to like be yourself, be natural. Like there's a lot of podcasts that are out there that are very like interview-esque, and those are cool. But to me, it's more just like I want people to know what it's like to hang out with us.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's pretty chill. Like we'll do one like after a show, and just talk about how the show went and things like that. Or like we went to a Touche Amore show, which was pretty sweet, and just had a podcast after that talking about their show and the bands we saw, and you know, giving shout outs and stuff like that. And it's kind of crazy. People do listen.
Yeah.
Like
that's cool.
When we first started putting it out, I was like, oh, it's going to be embarrassing. And now I'm like, oh, wow. Like, people are actually
it's fun.
like,
Yeah, that's
People always
cool.
listen.
It'd be cool to do the podcast like 30 minutes before the show,
exactly.
or like
Cool.
an hour before.
We'd be like,
Like you just
How you
set
doing,
it up
John?
and on the floor. You know, like
Yep.
like you know, right in front of the stage, and while everyone's coming in. That'd be crazy.
That'd be chaotic.
Yeah, it would definitely be
nuts.
chaotic.
Yeah,
Probably a little too loud too.
Yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of things you can do with it. And the reason I called it the CLSTL Show is because I didn't want it to just be labeled as a podcast, even though that's what it is right now. But it's going to be a platform where we do like in-studio rehearsals, maybe collabs with like other artists and things like that, and just get creative. Like it's a platform. It's like the world is moving so far away from like structured TV and I don't know, just formats that have kind of gotten stale a little bit. And now if you can create a portal to a band that's not only their music, it's not only like their album art, it's not like, because think about this, like back in the day, you bought an album and that was your portal to that band. Like that's how you could connect to them. Like music, obviously number one, but you can get that through the radio, but you buy the album because you can like read it, you can look at the art, like interviews, like all kinds of things like that. And now it's like we can digitalize so much more, and it's so easy to get information out there, like videos, and like we have access to all that. So it's really just kind of the beginning, and I'm interested to see what we can do with it. And now that we have a studio, it's like we could set that up for it and just, create a lot of cool things with it, essentially.
Yeah.
It's like a whole platform.
Sick.
Yeah,
Where do you
yeah.
post it? YouTube?
Everywhere, like YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that stuff. We're going to start a Patreon pretty soon. That'll be for more stuff like creating albums, like creating songs and stuff. So like
Right.
we're doing like a pre-production meeting with Flo on Friday for a new song, and we'll record that just like this. And that'll like go on the Patreon.
Fuck
and
yeah.
things like that. So that way that can help, like, it'd be like $1 a month or something
Yeah.
like that. But the thing is, like, for streams, right? Like, not to make it about money, but
Everything's about money.
you gotta fund things somehow, and it's that's why I got the screw offs, because it's like
At least those are fast though.
yeah. But like, if you can find ways to pay artists directly, I think that's a lot more rewarding. The comedians really paved the road.
Yeah.
Like, that's really what gave me the idea with podcasts and like how to fund projects. Like, comedians will produce their own specials. They put them on YouTube and things like
Right.
that because they have Patreons, or they have like direct to consumer
Right.
methodologies, which is pretty cheap. Like, think of $5 a month and you get whatever, if they're doing, 4 podcasts a month or maybe 8 podcasts a month. And then, you're getting 8 hours of entertainment for $5 a month from someone you really like and want to learn more
Right.
about, and they make you laugh, they entertain you. And not a lot of that is done in music. There's some people who do like direct to consumer models with their music, and I think that's cool.
I think
but
there's a website for that actually, or an app.
you know
where
what
you
it's
can
called?
I forgot what it was called, but I know that there's some musicians that will. I think J. Cole used it,
Oh, that
and
makes
he
sense.
he released his album, I think like 10 or 14 days before the actual album came out. Some other artists will be like exclusively on that platform,
Yeah,
or like
yeah.
release a project exclusively on that platform. And I don't know what the model is. I completely forgot, but yeah, it's really interesting.
Well,
Like,
what are your thoughts on that? Because there's like two sides of music, right? There's the side is you want people to enjoy it. You want to get your music into as many people's ears as possible.
Right.
Right. And there's avenues for that, but you're not going to make any profit typically. Like I don't know, for instance, like the amount of streams I got on my John Beach project equated to very little money. But like I look at the streams, I'm like, holy shit, I can't believe like this many people have listened to my music. And it's not about money at all. But then if I were to take it, and if I'm an upcoming artist where not a lot of people know me, I want to get my music into as many people's ears as possible. So if I'm limiting my outreach by maybe allowing myself to fund more projects because I can get 100 people to pay me for
Yeah.
my music, but there's like that factor, I guess.
yeah, I think I would, if I were to use that platform, I'd probably use it to like release demos that I wouldn't normally release on like every other platform. And that way, if someone is like really interested in like hearing more stuff by me and seeing exactly like what the process is, and a lot of demos are not good, but some of them are like decent, but maybe the sound isn't right and it doesn't fit with whatever your project is pushing. I feel like that would be cool, because I have demos that are like post-punk. I have demos that are just like not shades of blue anymore, but like there's a lot of experimentation that goes into the project before you actually get to a song that's like, okay, I feel like the masses will enjoy this, or I feel like it's good enough to show to people. But I think someone that like really wants to hear more by you and is like super interested in you, like hearing demos is cool.
Super cool,
Yeah.
especially for like, once you fall in love with an artist, like live versions is kind of an example of that has been used a lot. Like you find an album and there's like a live version of the song, or like the last 5 songs in the album are all like live, and they're not recorded as well, but sometimes there's just like fucking hype with them or something.
My favorite live album is Daft Punk's like 2007 live album.
Ooh.
Dude, so good. It's like some of the songs are, I feel like, better on the live album than the actual like Daft Punk songs, and that says a lot because their music is incredible. But the way that they mix the songs and like chop vocals up live, it's like insane. It's like it sounds like they're doing a guitar solo with chopped vocals and like parts of songs you already know, and like making a guitar solo on top. It's just like this insane production, and live show.
It makes you love them more too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like I tell everybody typically, like, if you're an artist, like, you should probably have some form of like, whether it's a podcast or not. Like, I think, like, we started documenting our, like, production of songs with the last song we did, and we just recorded everything, like, in studio. Like, we'll do some post interviews, like, now that it's done and stuff like that.
That's
like,
also a good way to not get sued. If someone's like, oh, this sounds exactly like my song, and you're like, well, you weren't an inspiration because you have the proof of the process, and maybe you didn't reference them once or whatever, like,
yeah,
that's what Ed
Didn't even
Sheeran
think of that.
does.
Oh yeah, so
I think
he doesn't
after
get
he
sued.
got sued, he was like, all right, let's record every single aspect of making a project so I can't
Smart.
get sued again.
God, what a fucking nightmare that would be. There's 100,000 songs that go out a day.
Yeah, you're bound to have similar melodies.
Yeah, of
You're
course.
bound to.
And, like, also because everyone's using similar software too. Like, it's only so creative you can be with, like, a guitar, and if
Yeah.
that's, like, one element of your song and it's driving the melody, you can, like, have you ever heard oh god, it's like this old YouTube video. It's like the Axis of Awesome. It's like these dudes. They were on, like, America's Got Talent or something, and they did
The 4-chord progression. Yeah, that's a good video.
yeah, and they just played 15 seconds or something of, like, 100 hits or
Yeah.
like 50 hits or something, and it's like, well, yeah, I mean, you can change keys of things and slow them down or speed them up a little bit, and they can all sound the same.
Right.
And yeah, that would suck. Dude, getting sued over music would be a bummer.
Yeah.
Unless they took it verbatim. Like, if you're like beats, I can imagine that maybe being an issue.
Because
Yeah.
of sampling.
Yeah.
I mean, Pharrell also
Yeah.
got sued by Marvin Gaye's estate.
Oh my
For
god.
what song?
Everybody get up, bump,
Um,
bump, bump, yeah, whatever that song is.
yeah.
If you can't find,
Uh-huh.
yeah,
Bro, those are like two nations going to war though. Like,
For
at that
real.
level.
but I mean, they lost.
Of
They
course,
lost
yeah.
the case.
Pharrell?
Pharrell lost, I think. Yeah. I might be talking out of my ass, but I think he lost.
We do a lot of that here. It's good, dude.
But like, it's
Sure
like
do.
you were like, remember when you were like, oh yeah, like I thought of like the chord progression of Heart of Tattered Scars, except it
Yeah,
ended
we-
on a different chord.
Yeah, we both arrived
Yeah.
at pretty much the same chord progression,
Yeah.
except like the very last chord.
Yeah, it's different.
And I
Bro, that-
wrote that all the way back in middle school. That's almost every day.
Yeah.
Our song, which hasn't come out yet, and Pablo's song, Heart of Tattered Scars, which is out.
Yeah.
Like the first 3 chords are identical.
And it sounds very different, dude. Harder.
I'm suing you guys, by the way. So, you know.
Good luck. Yeah.
Now we find out.
They're so different, dude. That song is one of my favorite songs by you. I've been
really?
listening to a bunch of your music. Yeah, like, I was trying to think of how I could tell this story, because like that song to me, like, I love all of your stuff. And this, you just put a song out pretty recently too.
Sink My
Your
Teeth,
In.
yeah.
Sink My Teeth In. Great fucking song. But
Thanks.
I always love hearing like an artist's evolution. Again,
Yeah.
another reason why I'm happy we're doing this.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
people can see us right now at this point, filming this on a fucking iPhone and like just talking to our friends basically. And then hopefully in a couple of years, it'll be like, you can go back and watch this journey. But you can
Yeah.
already do that with artists, because you released that song in 2022.
Yeah.
21. Okay. Amazing song.
Thanks, man.
Like, that is a fucking beautiful song. A minute and 40 seconds.
Yeah.
So good. But I think short songs like that, when they conclude the right way, you just want to
Yeah.
hear them again and again. I
Exactly,
listened to it
yeah.
3 times on my way here.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Sweet.
Like, I started it was like, all right, I got to prep for Pablo a little bit. Like, and I played it. I was like, oh, I fucking love this song. I know this song. And then I just kept running it back. I was like,
Yeah.
wow, like, beautiful song. Your vocals
Thanks,
are
man.
sick on that too. Really, really appreciate it. And so, what was cool was, I think the first time I heard that song for real, I saw you play it live, because you did that show.
Yes. Make out music.
Yeah. Bro, that was
was a great
awesome. I was so impressed by you.
That was
Like,
the first show ever, bro.
you're so cool on
First
stage.
show ever.
Yeah.
I was so nervous.
Well, it didn't show at all. You smiled the whole time. You're so happy. and fucking Dylan, wherever he's at, he had his shirt off playing the drums.
Yeah.
Yep.
And dude, a lot of pretty ladies at your show.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, how do we get pretty ladies at the Celestial Show?
Well, we have Pablo play for us.
I think I have a lot of supportive friends, and they all came out for that show. It was my first show ever, so a lot of people came.
People sang words back.
Yeah, yeah.
Dude, you were so happy. I swear, like, that was when I thought, I'm like, that's a cool motherfucker. Because, like, I'd met you once before, but really briefly. And it was kind of funny because I saw you in the green room after. I was like, bro, what's up? You're like, oh, what's your name again? I was like, God damn it.
Dude, I'm really bad. Like, I
bad
feel
with
so
names.
bad about stuff like that because I get really drunk and I might meet someone and then I'm like completely forget
Yep.
that I met someone.
Happens to all of us, dude. It's just, it didn't offend me at all. I was like, oh,
I hate it though when like I just feel bad when someone does it to me. But like, you know, in LA, a lot of the times you'll have that happen to you like 10 times. Like that will never happen to me 10 times. You know, like it'll happen maybe once or twice. But yeah, I hate it when I forget someone and I'm like, oh man, they think I'm an asshole. Yeah,
Well,
like,
that's why people say that shit. They're like, "Oh, nice to see you,"
yeah,
even though they've
Yeah.
never met you before.
yeah. I do that now.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
At this point, because we would host the jams at our house, right? So
Yeah.
like you'd have like 120, 130 people that show up.
Yeah.
And like maybe you met someone in passing for like a minute, and I'm like blackout drunk at the jams most of the time, and I'm like, that's happened to me so often at the jam specifically, where I'm like, oh, hi, nice to meet you, and they're like, oh no, I've met you actually, and I'm like, oh, cool, sorry, you know,
You're a superstar.
yeah, no, not even no, it's just, my memory's terrible.
No, it's you meet a lot of people. It's impossible to remember. Like
Yeah.
it happens to me too, and it's just part of it, dude. But it's
Yeah.
okay. You're a super sweet dude.
Thanks, man.
You're a super sweet guy. And
Appreciate
like when I saw you playing, the coolest thing is like I love going to shows. I love going to small shows, but small shows in LA, like really, like I'll go to a lot of small shows. Very rarely am I like as impressed as I want to be. I still love being there. I
Yeah.
still love supporting artists and like going out. But that was like a pretty fucking cool moment. And the fact that
Yeah.
that's your first show, I mean,
Yeah.
dude, you should have seen the Celestial first show. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
It was sick, but we had like, 20 people there. And like, it's like we're figuring it out still.
Yeah.
Full band, like the way we were doing it too, is also a little bit more unique. We had to get like buy-in from like the other guys and see who was the right fit. And like,
Right.
we were just kind of plowing through, like figuring it out. Now it's pretty sweet. Like now it's really cool. But like, dude, that was a really cool time. But I want to ask you, so what did you do before Shades of Blue? Did you do anything like as an individual, or you just like were you making music?
I've had Shades of Blue as a name for like a while, but I started releasing music under SOB.
Okay.
Short for Shades of Blue. Everyone's like,
cool.
oh, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
And I was like, nope, that's got to change. But I'm glad though, because the first 2 songs I released under that name were just like god awful. It was like when I first started with Dylan in like 2021, I want to say is when I released those songs. And I was like, we were just figuring shit out, and I was all over the place. I wanted to be like a Frank Ocean type,
Oh.
but I can't really sing like Frank Ocean. I can't sing very well. I think most, like, I just feel like I'm pitchy a lot. So like, it was just not working. And then like, I made a really brief demo. It was called like Flower Bed in my bedroom, and like that kind of direction where it was more like guitar centric.
Yeah.
Brought it to Dylan, and he was like, oh yeah, this is the direction I think we should go in. And I was like, cool, let's start like making more like rockish music. And then that's how Heart of Tattered Scars came to be. Like I made the demo in my room, brought it to Dylan, we hashed out a bunch of the details. And originally the lyrics were completely different, but when we were trying to like finish the song in the studio, Dylan's old manager Max was there. And he was like, me and Dylan were arguing about the accessibility of the lyrics. And Dylan's like, oh no, if you complicate it, then like no one's gonna want to listen to it. And Max was like, yeah, it is true. It is true. And then Max interjected, and he's like, no, I feel like you should make it a little bit more complicated. And
Yeah, be yourself.
and then I was like, oh yeah, you know what? I should make it more complicated, because originally the lyrics were, oh, why did you say you don't know what you want?
Oh,
I'll
wow.
open up someday. It's one and the same. These veins pump black and tar. I'll open up someday.
Oh, wow.
And then
I
that
had no
completely
idea.
changed to, because Max was like, oh, I like the lyric, these veins pump black and tar.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, that is a cool lyric. Let me just like restructure everything around that. So then it became, heart of tattered scars, I choked on what she said, sticks to me like clay. I forgot the rest of it.
Suffocate my lungs.
Something.
Suffocate my lungs.
Oh, suffocate my lungs. These veins pump black and tar. I'll never be the same.
Wow.
Yeah.
Bro, those are really good lyrics.
Yeah.
Though.
Thanks. Yeah. Thanks.
So when you write lyrics, do you typically write to a song that's already like demoed? Like are you writing and playing guitar or?
Well, nowadays I just like wait for Dylan to make something cool. I'll be sitting down here and I'll be like, I don't know about that. I don't know about that one.
Did you guys hear that sound? We should sample that one. Whoa.
Dylan's ruining the
Bro,
mic.
you're
That's just going in your lungs, bro. Whatever that sound is producing is going in your body.
I like it.
That's such a producer, like mix engineer thing to say.
The first thing I say when I join.
It's like
We
you
should
walk in and
sample
like
that.
scuff your foot. You're like, oh shit, what,
Yo,
the
what
fuck?
if we sample this shit?
We layer it with a snare. It's gonna be the fucking it's fat, dude. Yeah. Yeah. Somebody out there sample that. Be sick. Wait, say something, Dylan, real quick.
Something.
Okay, I just want to make sure you're recording.
Yeah, he's in there.
Cool.
He's locked in.
Yeah. So like, I guess you just wait for like something that connects with you, and
Yeah.
then you just write to that.
Yeah, if I hear a progression, I'm like, oh, that's it, right there. Generally, it's just like melodies start coming out, and I'm like, oh, that feels good,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And then I start the painstaking process of writing lyrics
Yeah.
and like figuring out what I want to write about. And a lot of the times, I try to write like a song that might seem like it's about something completely different, and then like sneak in a concept that it's actually about.
Do you think that happens on its own, or do you like purposefully do that? Because sometimes, okay,
Like Sink My Teeth, the chorus is I cry thinking about your thighs. Like thinking about your thighs, tell me, is that okay? Let me catch it all in 4K. So if all you're listening to is the chorus, you're like, oh, this song is about horny.
Horny
so,
Pablo.
What's so horny,
And
this
they're
song?
right. And they're right.
This song is so horny. But actually, if you listen to the first verse, I kind of like put the theme of what the song is about, and it's temptation.
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Like summer dress, picking apples in the garden.
Yeah, that
trying not
sticks
to
out.
lose my head. Louis' offspring. Yeah.
That first line sticks out a ton. Like when I heard it like the first time, I was just like, damn.
Yeah.
Like it's very you have like a vibe about you for sure.
Yeah.
There's like yeah, I guess it's like in a funny way, it's like super sweet guy, horny, like you know what I mean? It's like,
The
Horny.
super sweet guy is like horny as fuck. I don't
back
get
to
it.
the drawing board.
no, it's artistic, dude. I really enjoy it. It's a very unique vibe. And yeah, I mean, you just shocked me so much with your first show. I was just so impressed. I was like, wow, dude, I can't believe that was your first show.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it has to do with Dylan too, and like the band. Like
What-
they're just so fucking tight.
What
just
show?
a bunch of tight motherfuckers.
The Make Out Music one?
Those. Oh.
That was
I
my
forgot.
first show. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Dylan, you were topless, bro.
I was.
Since then, I've been
Lips up.
begging Flo. I'm like, dude, take your shirt off when we play live, please.
You
Yeah.
should do a shirt where it's connected on the back, but on the front it's just nipples out.
There's a shirt like that actually.
Little holes for your nipples.
I've seen it a lot in
out.
West Hollywood.
Really?
hmm There's a shirt like that. Yeah.
That makes sense, West Hollywood.
Yeah. Yeah.
They sell it at Romantics.
Romantics. What's that?
It's a vibe though, you know? Walking out, chest out.
Neal's been around.
Oh.
You showed your ass a little bit in there, Neal.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, you gotta
I
shake
exposed
it.
myself.
That's okay.
Gotta shake it.
How'd you and Dylan meet?
We met in Miami
Through
like a mutual friend. Well, he was living with this guy named Marcelo, and I came over to his house, and I met Dylan, and I thought Dylan was a douche at first, and then
And he was right.
and then like after meeting him more times, I was like, oh, Dylan's cool, and then I moved out to LA, and I was kind of like semi-homeless at the time. Like I would sleep in my car a lot, and at a certain point, I hit Dylan up, and I was like, hey, I know we haven't talked in like 3 years. Can I sleep at your place? And then he's like, yeah, like how long? And I was like, a night. And then I'd go and sleep at Dylan's house for a night, and then I'd go and sleep in my car in the parking lot, and then the next day I'd be like, can I stay over
You were
for
doing
another
every
night?
other.
Yeah, or like wait 2 days and then ask for another 2 days or a day. And then at some point I was like, so can I just stay here for a little bit?
I think I just caught on. I was like, where are you going when you're not at my place?
Yeah.
And you told me.
Yeah, something like
I
that.
was like, you shouldn't be living in your car. You should.
Yeah.
You could stay here as long as you don't have a place.
Yeah, and I was working too, so I was like in my car, and then I would go to the ramen noodle restaurant I worked at, and yeah, it was quite a interesting time.
And then we made one of the best songs we've ever made.
No, that's the first song we ever made was while I was at his house, and it's horrible.
I'm not even talking about that one.
Oh, which one?
Not Miami Love. The the trappy one.
Oh yeah, but no, that we didn't make that one at that time. That was like a year or two later.
Yeah, but we only like recorded one thing before then or two.
Yeah, it was that one song that was like blah 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 bathroom stall.
Adderall.
Yeah, it was so bad. It was so bad.
We
But
should play it.
please no.
Release our trap song, Dylan.
Which one?
The one we did with Dame.
I don't. Oh my god. Yeah. Oh my god. I remember what you're talking about. No.
No.
Yeah.
So you went to school in Miami?
No, I was
Born
just
and raised.
Oh,
Nope.
you're from there.
no, I wasn't born and raised there.
Oh, I thought you grew up in Miami.
I grew up in Miami, but I was born in France, and I came to the States when I was 7.
Oh, okay.
Whoa.
Yes, sir. Just about about 7 years old.
Do you speak French?
Mhm.
Wow.
And Spanish too. My dad's from Chile.
Oh my God.
Yes, sir.
Wow. You have a lot of depth to you.
I try to incorporate some Spanish lyrics sometimes, or like French.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I've heard that. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know specifically, but I've definitely heard like some French in like your songs. You do these really cool videos on Instagram too, where you just kind of like lyric videos where you're like in front of your phone and just like live do it. I'm always like, damn, Pablo's bold. That's awesome. Yeah.
I mean, you got to post something at some point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Of course. Yeah.
And Instagram is like a hard beast. Like on TikTok, I feel like TikTok is like a lot of quantity, and I feel like on Instagram I always want to post more quality videos. And it's just kind of hard to do consistently, especially when you don't have the money for production.
It's a lot of work.
You know, so it's like, yeah, TikTok is just easier. All my fans have come from TikTok, probably.
Really?
Yeah.
That's sick. Yeah, we
All of them.
barely leverage TikTok. We should.
We got it.
Good God.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we have a Celestial page, but I just post things on my page because I don't remember the password for the
When it
Celestial
was getting
page.
banned, we were both like, phew. And then it came back and we're like, fuck, we got to do this again.
Like, yeah, honestly, TikTok is the place to do it.
We'll do
Yeah.
it.
You know, like even if you get a song viral on Instagram, it's not gonna like do the same numbers as a song that's viral on TikTok.
Interesting.
Do you know what I
True.
mean? Because like on Instagram, like you have utilization of sounds, but it's not in the same way as TikTok, where like a true virality on TikTok is not a post that hits 1 million views. It's really if 10,000 or 20,000 or 30 or like over 100,000 people use your sound.
Yeah.
And that's like real virality.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And you don't really have that on Instagram, you know?
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, like you're not going on Reels scrolling and like finding your next favorite artist really.
Yeah.
But like the thing about TikTok is that because so many people are using your sound, I always like equate it to the new radio. Cause like even if you might not like a song, you might hear it 5, 6, 7, 8 times on a separate video.
Then you grow
and you're
to-
like, oh, like I keep hearing this song. Sounds kind of interesting. Let me check it out. And then maybe you love the song, but you've heard it so many times at that point in different contexts.
Yep.
Maybe like you probably haven't even seen the actual artist's TikTok.
Yep.
But you've seen videos in context with it, you know, and that makes it like you end up wanting to listen to the song, and that's how you really get viral, you know?
Yeah. I mean, we'll definitely leverage it more.
Yeah.
But
Pablo just went viral on TikTok a couple days ago, but then you were shadow
I was
banned,
snubbed.
right? Yeah, for
What?
having a picture of him smoking a cigarette.
I was in shadow banned. The TikTok got striked, so that means like it loses eligibility for the For You page.
whoa.
Yeah.
So then
For a
they'll like completely stop the traction of the actual snippet or whatever.
What do you think
So-
the motivation is for that? Is it so?
It's very like PC. It's very
Yeah.
Is that really it? It's just PC.
Yeah.
It's not like a thing. I always wondered like when YouTube does that, if they demonetize something, is it just because like they're looking for rules so they don't have to pay people as much?
well, it's mainly ads.
Yeah. Oh,
They do
ads
that
just
because
don't
of
want-
ads.
So
Yeah.
ads don't want to be associated with a cigarette.
Yeah, they don't want to be associated with cigarettes or like sex or like drugs or any of that kind of stuff.
But that's like a huge part of our culture and the music
Yeah.
industry.
Yeah,
You know, it's just backwards a little bit to me. I think that's like funky. But congrats, dude. That's fucking awesome.
yeah, it was cool. I mean, dude, I was doing 1,000 likes every 20 minutes.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
big
and
time.
then I'm at the gym and I check the post and it says this post has lost like eligibility for the For You
Oh my
page.
God.
You can
They
file an
even tell
appeal, and
you
I tried
about
to
it.
appeal, and they denied me. I was like,
It's obnoxious.
but you know, there's others. There will be others.
Yeah, I was gonna say it'll happen again for
Yeah.
sure. No, your music's super catchy and it's very like it can cross many generations, I guess. Like
Yeah.
it's like if you're like 16, you can like it, and then if you're like 30, you can also like fuck
Yeah.
with it. It's like it's got like that good, like it can touch a lot of people.
I want it to be timeless.
Pause.
Yeah.
Kind of
Dude, whoa, no way! You just hit a pause joke. That's
I'm
impressive.
playing a lot of Call of Duty. I'm sorry.
Pause, dude.
Pause. Someone every now and then will just say something, not mean it in the way that it sounds, and I'll just not have talked the whole game, and I'll just be like, pause.
Pause.
That's hilarious. So what made you move to LA? Because you're in Miami.
music.
Really? So you're like, okay, I'm gonna go to LA and pursue music.
Yeah, honestly,
Were you playing stuff there? Like,
No.
do you play instruments? Like,
I play a little bit of guitar, a little bit of piano, a little bit of uke, but like not even enough to be like, I play this instrument.
but you can write on it. Like that, I think.
Yeah, that's kind of the point. Like
Yep.
I can, do a, 4-chord progression and then be like, that's nice. Let me-
Yeah.
and since I have no knowledge of music theory, I just kind of do whatever. And I'm like, that sounds pretty cool together. And like, Dylan's always like, you always like things with a lot of tension. And I'm like, yeah,
Yep.
I do.
Not that much anymore.
No, I'm probably not as much now.
That's
But when we
something we
first
talk
started
about a
working-
lot, though, is sometimes it's best not to know what
Yeah.
you're doing.
Yeah, I think
Get
so.
more soul in it.
Yeah. I honestly feel like the downfall of the Red Hot Chili Peppers is not the downfall, but like,
This is gonna hurt Neal.
when
Whatever
they
you
stop
say.
when they stopped being as good when Flea got learned music theory,
Okay. Which
which is
what
right
era?
around Stadium Arcadium.
Did you not like Stadium Arcade?
I did, but that was the last one which I thought like, okay, this is like still really good.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, and it wasn't like as memorable as By the Way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
No,
like
that makes sense.
and then after that, every album since I'm like, okay, like it's okay. It's not like, but it lost like the pizzazz of.
Doesn't that happen to like every band though?
But they had been releasing music for like 20 years at that, but by Californication, 20 years
Yeah.
They also lost their guitarist. Their main
for
guitarist.
Stadium Arcadium or after.
After Stadium Arcadium.
Afterwards, yeah, John
Was
Frusciante.
that his last album?
No, but
he's back now.
I know
Yeah,
he's
he's
back
back.
now, but
Yeah, but prior to that
since, like,
break, yeah.
2022 or something.
well, I
Yeah.
didn't like their last album either.
I didn't love it.
yeah,
yeah.
but now
I liked
they're-
I'm With You, though.
I don't
They're
know.
like
one
in
with
their
the
60s
fly on the
now,
pill.
though.
Oh yeah, that one was
Actually
okay.
liked that
yeah,
album.
it was okay, but it wasn't like, I don't know. You get what I'm saying though?
Yeah. 100%.
Didn't feel like them.
Dude, no,
Yeah.
I fully fucking agree. I don't know music theory at all. Like I make up chords all the time. I like switch guitar tuning because it like makes it more difficult just to naturally go into patterns. And that helps a ton. And what's cool about Celestial is it's kind of like what you're saying with what you do. It's like I'll bring an idea. Like the other day we did a song. You were here we were kind of recording some of it here. And it was just like one of the most simple chord progressions, I guess, things I've ever written. It's like almost the same thing the whole time. And there's like moments for impact, I guess. Like now that we've done more Celestial, I kind of understand a bit more of the production side of things. But yeah, I think having the freedom just to kind of figure it out and do whatever you want. Because that way you're going to do exactly what you feel and you're motivated while you're playing more. Because like you'll like, say there's 4 chords or something. You're on like play one chord, play the second chord. And then you're like, ooh, I want to hear this. And you're like
and
trying
you're
to figure out what
find
that
it,
is.
yeah.
And you find maybe a unique way to do it and it adds more tension, which is really cool. And then that leaves room for resolve with other things in production. And
Right.
then like it's just kind of this really cool like path to go down. And it's very freeing and there's no
Yeah.
pressure and there's no judgment. I couldn't like I'm obsessed with music. I've written music my whole life. I think if I went to school for music, and I'm thinking this is like who knows, I could be the man if I went to school for music. But
Yeah.
I think I do much better in a more free form type artistic environment versus a structured environment when it comes to music.
Right.
I grew up listening to a lot of punk rock. I thought forever like that you don't have to be the best musician. Like when I first started playing guitar, I started playing guitar because I was like, well, I like distortion, so I want to play electric guitar, and I just want to play and sing.
Right.
I thought like at the time, which is ridiculous. I thought like, oh, if you sing in a rock band and you don't play guitar, you're not like a badass. And now I'm older. And I'm like trying to play and sing some of the Celestial songs, and I'm like, oh damn, this is not so
easier
easy.
to not like play guitar and just sing.
Yeah, because now I'm writing more to things we'll make. Like, and it's really fun because like I like writing with Neal, and so I'll write like maybe like a little bit of lyrics or just like a basic chord progression or something like that. Like not even a chord progression, just like something random, and then Neal and I will record it, and then we'll just develop the song together, and then I will write lyrics to that.
Right.
Like that song, which I never used to do.
Right.
But that creates a lot of opportunity for singing to the song in a way that I used to not sing, because I used to only sing and play. When I would write, I would just like play acoustic and write as I played, which limited me to playing in my comfort zone to be able to sing over it.
Right.
And now I'm playing more complicated things, like even like in time, I guess, and singing not to it the way I used to. And so now I'm noticing as I'm like starting to practice these, I'm like, Jesus, this is going to be fucking hard for me to do this.
It's definitely,
Comes with its own set of
I
challenges.
like not playing a guitar on stage.
You have good movement though. You have like good vibe. Like I don't think I'm too stiff. Like I need to have an instrument.
Right.
too.
And I also like the feeling of like being able to just like step away from the mic and fucking play for a little bit. That gets me hyped. Like and there's that moment when you're about to sing. Like I really enjoy it. I couldn't see myself not doing it.
Right.
But you have a different stage presence where like I think you're so free with just a microphone. You're always smiling.
Yeah.
That's one thing I noticed. I was just like, damn, that dude's so fucking happy. I know I've said that a couple times, but it was just so cool. And I liked how you use the filter. Like that.
Oh yeah.
What is that? Because
Was it a phone? Was it your phone microphone?
Yeah, it's like what phone or bullet mic.
Yeah, we split
either one.
it. It's our mic actually.
Bro, it's like Flo and I split a bass drum. I'm like, why did I pay for this bass drum?
Yeah, it's only Dylan that uses it really. I'm like, okay.
What do you mean? You use it all the
I know.
time.
I use it for live shows.
Also, when would you use it if not with me?
I know. I know.
In the shower. Use it in the shower, bro.
Yeah.
It's a vibe for sure. So
Connect your phone to
Put
it.
my head down
yeah,
in
dude.
the shower.
So because you have like a really interesting story. You just kind of like touched on it a little bit, but I think it'd be really cool. I guess you're in Miami. You're like what, like 20 or something like that. You're a young bull, and you're like, I'm moving to fucking LA, and then you meet up with Dylan. And so this was what, like 2021 or something like that, or what?
2019.
2019 you moved here.
Yeah.
And so you're working in a restaurant. Like how long before you like got like established? Because now you're in this like beautiful house in fucking Little Canyon.
Yeah.
Like I drive up here, my ears pop. You know, it's a pretty good spot.
Yeah, that stuff happening to me now. Like my ears don't pop anymore. But
Hey, you're used
I've
to it.
gotten used to it too.
Yeah, I'm down in the
we
slums.
just live in the fucking hills, bro.
Yeah.
I'm so used to it.
I live
by
in the
now.
hills.
The elevation doesn't even get to me anymore. No, but I moved here, 2019. And then, like, what's the question? Like, when did I get established?
Yeah, like what was your journey like once you moved here? Because you alluded to it saying you were like basically living in your car, hanging out with Dylan. And then when did things start to
It
feel
was
like,
a
okay, I
hard
made the right
first
decision?
year. It was a hard first year. Like, I was at Dylan's house for like 6 weeks and like saving money.
Longer.
And then, no, it was 6 weeks.
Had to have been 3 months.
It was 6
Didn't
weeks.
you move into your new place in
January.
and you came in October.
Yeah, and I like left.
That's 3 months.
No, I left in November from that place.
From what place? Oh,
Yeah.
and it wasn't October.
No.
Are you sure?
Mm-hmm.
I gotta pull up the photos because I'm pretty sure one of those photos of you staying at my place was in October.
Well, you guys were hanging out. You know,
Yeah,
you're
anyway.
buddies. Thank God you're buddies. You know, we'll see how long this conversation goes. You're still buddies. Living together, dude. When I live with people, like even like my best friends, like there's always moments I'm just like, I'll fucking kill you.
Yeah, bro. Me and Dylan argue about the stupidest shit. Like just the most minute detail that like
Thank you.
8 weeks versus
It's
6
Dylan,
weeks.
it's Dylan and I actually.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Are you gonna be disruptive, Dylan?
You should read
This is
some
Pablo's
books.
show.
You should read some books.
It's your show,
sometimes.
man.
This is the Celestial Show featuring Shades of Blue.
And Dylan.
Dylan's a big part of Shades of Blue.
Yeah,
I recognize that.
he is.
Yeah. Yeah, so you're here, dude. Like, what's going through your head? Like, what's that journey
Oh
like?
yeah, I got an apartment finally, and then I'm like working 2 jobs as a busser one place and as a server at the ramen spot, and then I'm
COVID.
living my best life, you know, just trying to
COVID.
get shit together. and then I fucking get then COVID happens in March, and then I like can't work, and
Jesus Christ.
broke again, like just broke, and I couldn't pay rent. And at a certain point before they opened things up, I had maybe $60 in my account, could barely like afford food, and unemployment wasn't working for me because I filled it out wrong.
Oh, Jesus.
So I just couldn't like collect any of the money, and it was just rough. I was drinking by myself often in my like studio apartment.
I would get depressed text messages from Pablo like every other day being like, bro, why can't we hang out? And he was always hanging out with some other people, and me.
No,
and
I was only hanging out with Amanda.
That
was the only other person I hung out with.
Yeah, but she was hanging out with a bunch of
Yeah,
people.
she was hanging out with other people, but I never
So
hung out with anyone
my
else.
roommate was like really nervous about COVID because it had just started, and I was like, I know you've only been hanging out with Amanda, but there's like 20 people she's hanging out with. So I was like, we can't if.
Yeah, I know, yeah. And so I just didn't see anyone really except for one person, and I was losing my fucking mind.
Hey, Dylan, you gave Pablo the black mark. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, just like outcast them.
Yeah.
How could you?
Oh yeah,
Pirates of the Caribbean
did.
style.
Yeah.
The black dot.
And then at some point he was like, "Yeah, I guess we could go for a hike." And I was like, cool.
Social distance hike.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Literally.
Dylan shows up with a fucking
It
balaclava
wasn't.
on.
If it was just me, I would have done it. But
Yeah.
it was my roommate was definitely a little nervous about it.
Yeah.
I get it.
I had a few initial arguments with people about COVID, and then after, because one time I went home and I was like, "This COVID's probably bullshit, like whatever." And I I'm like chilling on my couch, I'm so tired, and I like pull up, it's like Bill Gates talking about how fucked up like diseases can be and how we need a vaccine, and it just like did like a demo of how it could like basically kill everyone in the world, and I was just like, Jesus Christ, like
Yeah.
this is fucking terrifying. And I was like thinking, am I gonna lose my job? Like all this shit went through my head, and then I don't know, I was like basically working remote at the time, and so it ended up being fine for me. But my roommate at the time had to go into his job, and he worked in like it was like a wiring harness shop. So like people just putting together like wires for airplanes. Mm-hmm. And I remember like arguing with him, just like, bro, you should really like, you know, talk to your boss. Like this might be kind of fucking scary. He's like, nah, it's bullshit. And like 2 months later, he's like, bro, it's fucking terrifying. It was such a weird
Trying
like
times.
ebbs and flows. And there'd be days where I'm like, I don't care. And then all of a sudden somebody's like, yo, you want to go on this trip? And I'm like, COVID, you know?
Yeah.
Like I'm like, I don't have a bunch of money or something. I'm like using it as an excuse or something
Dude,
like that.
in the beginning, I was like, my chest feels kind of heavy every single day. I was
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna die.
Yep.
That was another thing. It's like, oh, it's bullshit. And then you get like a little cough and you're like, shit. I'm like vaping constantly at the time too. Like, I used to vape like crazy, and I was just like looking at them. I was like, where do they make these things? It's like China. I'm like, fuck.
I coughed on my vape
Wuhan.
before.
And I can't give it up, dude. I used to vape so much.
Made in Wuhan. That's crazy.
Bro, you
I
get
said that.
Oh, really? Made in Wuhan is crazy.
you would get killed for saying that back then too. Like,
Yeah.
people were. It was a ridiculous time, and music was weird too. Like, man, I think about how great life is now. Like in the world, I mean, there's still chaos, obviously. But I think, like with this podcast, with all the things I'm thinking about all the time with music, there's really never been a better time to make music for
Yeah.
sure, and get it out there for people to hear. And I just think we're really lucky, like
Yeah.
for real. Like, look at your guys' fucking house. I mean, the camera
Yeah.
can't see it, but there's a full studio here. This is your living room,
Yeah.
which I find hilarious because I imagine Neal like chilling in there, and you're like doing drum loops or something like that. Like, and he's just like, hell yeah.
We make it work.
Yeah.
So far, so good.
Dude, I do wish that I had the same confidence with TikTok back then that I have now, where I was making the same quality music.
Oh my god.
Because back then it was a fucking gold mine.
It was.
It was really easy to blow up on
Yeah.
TikTok for the dumbest shit.
If you
Bro, my
got in
dog-
there pre-COVID, you were
I
set.
just made the song of the summer.
Yeah,
fucking
that
play
type
the
shit,
song in the
yeah.
fucking car, and then all of a sudden you're at like 3 million views.
Before it
and-
was cringy.
yeah, I mean, but it was still cringy, but it's like cringy until you're
worked.
making
millions.
tens of thousands of dollars a month. You
Yeah.
know, that's always what it is. It's always cringy. Like when you're starting out and you're getting 300 views, it's fucking cringe because no one gives a fuck. And then until you get like a bunch of views, you're like, okay, I don't feel cringe anymore. Let me just do my little fucking song and dance. Like
But isn't that a cool lesson? Like for this,
Yeah.
it's like I have friends who like make fun of me for the podcast a little bit, and I'm just like, fuck you, dude. Like it's cool. And
Yeah.
like now that people are listening, I'm like, dude, this is the coolest thing. Like, well, we had like our first episode had hit 100 downloads. I remember being like, it was your buddy Nick, And he promoted it too, which is really cool. But I should being like, what the fuck? Like 100 people listened to his talk for like more than half of this episode because that's how it counts as a download.
Yeah.
And like all of a sudden to me, I'm like, any worry, I'm just like, no, this is fucking cool. But it's a good point because I want people to know, like you said, like people listening, if you want to create art, if you want to do something that's unique to you, there is an audience for everybody.
Yeah.
Like, don't feel like you're being cringy or anything like that. I mean, be yourself, obviously. Like, don't fake it. Like, that's stupid. But it's just, there's never been a better time to find people who are going to enjoy what you're doing.
Yeah. I do think, though, you lose a lot of the mysteriousness that I think people love about an artist. But I think that
Yeah, I'm ultra mysterious.
I think
I don't post shit.
I think you don't have the luxury to be mysterious when you're first starting out, you know?
Unless you somehow get in with like a label that is, I mean, I think that could still exist. It's just-
McGee.
wait.
Yeah, I mean McGee's been making music with other artists that have been successful. He has like a sustainable income and he already has
I'm just saying, like, he didn't like grow from like TikTok. Really.
I know, but he was a producer. Like he was a producer first and he was making really successful songs.
Not
and,
super. Not
yeah,
super.
but still making
Yeah.
money off of music.
Yeah.
I'm talking about like a purely independent artist that has to start from scratch, promoting themselves without any connections to the music industry. You can't afford to be mysterious. You have no money behind you. You have to get up, put your phone down, lip sync to your song, and hopefully people like it. And people will not like it for a while. And then eventually there's going to be a song that the right amount of seconds is perfect for people to latch onto it. And then that goes on. That's going to go on for more time. Like that, you're going to have that one successful song on TikTok, and then it's going to dip off. No one's going to like your next 3 songs.
Yeah.
And then maybe you have another song that has a few 100,000 views until like hopefully one day 100,000 people use your sound, you know, and that's
Yeah.
the lesson in it.
It's a great point because we know this other dude, Alec Norris, cool fucking cat. Like, makes some pretty cool music, and he hasn't released anything yet. He's just playing shows, and he got some article with some magazine in LA. I don't know. He's like, but he's very opposite. He's like, no, I'm gonna do this like playing shows and the old school way kind of thing. And there's power in that for sure. I think it's a lot fucking harder. You know
It's
what
impossible.
I mean? It will feel impossible. You just got to make a lot more music. It's gonna take a lot longer for you to establish something.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so this is my perspective, right? If you're touring by yourself and you're trying to do it the conventional way, you might get a local fan base. But beyond that, if you want to have a global presence, you're not going to do that without TikTok.
Totally agree.
And even when you're on stage, people will record you, post it to TikTok.
Yep.
Maybe that goes viral. So regardless, there's no way I think of actually being a worldwide artist without using social media in that way.
I think
you know?
his perspective is like depending on other people to do that, which, I mean, when I say it out loud, it's like that's probably not the best way to go about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a hard pill to swallow, I think, for some people because they look up to artists who didn't have to do that. And now the world's different, so you do have to. And we put a lot of effort into that. Like with Celestial, I mean, we're like just starting, really. But we've gotten better. I do kind of enjoy it now.
Yeah.
Like making the clips.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's pretty fun. Like I like it.
It's like a dopamine rush.
It is.
I feel like a slave to my notifications right now.
It feels so good.
Yeah, no, not even. I'm
Were you
just
just
like
looking at it right
anxiously like looking at it over and over again, thinking
yeah.
like, is it gonna go up?
Were
How
you
fast
just-
is it gonna go up?
Were you
Yeah, I
just
don't know.
looking
Like
at
a
it?
high.
No, I wasn't just like there's people coming over later, so I was just checking the text. But
The first time I got like a video on Instagram that got like 5,000 views and I got a lot of followers, it was such a rush.
Yeah.
I totally understand.
Yeah,
what
it's
you're
a
saying.
weird- it's a
You're
weird
like
thing.
driving, being like, oh
I
shit.
don't
yeah,
know.
it's weird.
I don't know if any of you, I don't think we even knew each other, but back in my college days, I was like posting probably at least 2 drum videos a day, and they were like shitty, not mic'd up drum videos. But at a certain point, I got a bunch of like steam, and then like I got like almost 1,000 follows in a week, which was a lot for
That's a
me.
big
on
deal,
on
yeah.
Instagram.
Yeah, that's quite a
It's a
bit.
big deal for anybody, bro. If you see a jump of 1,000 followers, like
Yeah.
And I got up to like 4,500 like followers from like 900, and I hated it so much. I just hated like the shitty short form, like just throw a camera at my drum set and record some gospel chops. I also just hated like gospel chops in general because I was like, yeah, I can do them, but I don't like listening to them like ever. When I'm listening to a drummer, I'm like, yeah, that's cool. Move
So did
on.
you start doing it because
So I stopped and everyone unfollowed me. Not everyone, but like a lot.
Yeah.
Like I lost like 1,000 followers equally in like a month.
Goes
Bro,
equally
I-
fast on the way
I
down.
never unfollow people. It's so
Me
funny.
neither.
Bro, this is actually hilarious. I was like, the other day I posted something. I was like, yo, go follow Celestial, like on my own page. And I checked like the next day and we like lost 1 follower.
Yeah. I used to have one of those apps that would show you who unfollowed you, and that
Ew.
was just so toxic.
Ew, dude, no, I couldn't do that. I
Yeah.
couldn't handle that.
Yeah.
My little heart.
Yeah.
It's always funny to me.
Painful.
I do check that sometimes on Instagram, and I'm like, after I post a story or like a a post or whatever, you'll see like a bunch of people unfollow you after. It's so funny. Like 15 people unfollow
Yeah,
you.
because they're like, oh yeah, I follow this guy.
yeah, like who's this
Yeah.
fucking loser?
Weird.
Yeah.
That is so
Block.
odd.
It is.
But what's
yeah.
funny with me is I was on a friend's vlog a lot, and he got a lot of like traction on YouTube, and
David Dobrik, right?
yeah, David Dobrik, and because of his YouTube, I got a bunch of followers, and then so a lot of like a big chunk of them.
Washing machine singing a
Yeah.
song. This is a music home.
A
was
big
like,
chunk
what
of them will
was
like
that?
whenever they see me, they just unfollow me because they probably forget who I am, or
Yeah.
they're not who they thought I was.
That's how it
Like
goes.
I'm not who they thought I was. Yeah, so I don't know, it's just funny.
I'm not who they wanted me to be.
Yeah, really.
That was you with those gospel.
The gospel chops.
That was a really corny part of my life.
Really?
I remember you
when I was on
bringing
his
that up.
vlog. Oh my god.
Who was
I
it?
never saw
I'm
I
not
guess
this.
you
saying
don't
it.
have to say. Yeah.
No,
yeah.
I'm not saying it. But it, like, yeah.
Was it like a
just-
daily vlog?
Yeah, it was like a family vlog or something.
Interesting.
But it just so corny. I don't like those YouTube vlogs.
Bro, Neal and I used
Say
to
the
do.
name. Say it.
I'm not.
We
gonna
used to
say
do
it.
live
Out town.
streams.
Bro, those live streams, I look back at them, they were cool, but like when I watched them, like you had the split down the middle.
Yeah, no, just different time. Figuring it out.
Wait, what?
My hair used to be like this. I even wore a
it was?
headband sometimes.
Oh yeah, I do remember
that?
the headband.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it would just be Neal's like big head and like me in the background, like with a guitar, and we would just be like making a song. We had fun, but dude, I look back at some of his videos and I'm just like, what?
I thought it was a good idea.
It was a good idea, but it's just we didn't execute. We've grown so much, bro. We've grown. We make good
Way
music
better,
now.
yeah.
But when we first started, like we were hype on some shit that's like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's still cool. The first track we ever made was like
Was great.
pretty cool,
Yeah.
but it's never gonna be a Celestial song. But like, there's some of those things. Of course, you're on your journey, dude. You're
Yeah.
gonna do some weird shit. Like,
Pablo and I just had this discussion yesterday.
We had some weird music when we first started, like really bad.
so
Really
bad.
bad.
I want to hear
It's
it.
really
why was
bad.
it bad? Like, you guys are both creative. As
You know
fuck.
what?
Like,
If I
No, it was
showed
bad.
someone would like it, but not many,
Not most.
not most.
Because I learned how to sing better and better as I continued working with Dylan. So it took
do you practice?
occasionally, like every other. I try to like 3 times a week if I can.
Yeah,
You're always doing vocal warm ups before sessions.
Yeah, I try.
that's a pro move.
Yeah.
Neal and I'll go in hungover and just be like, for demos, and then we end up using them for the actual take. It's like so good, but like
Sometimes you capture a moment.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I relied on
sometimes.
high school choir for too many years. I'm like, yeah, I know how to sing.
Yeah.
And then now I'll hear some of before we tune them, and I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Like I was watching some of the videos for the documentary, the mini doc we're making about distance, and there's like one of me singing, and like Ellie literally is like, you can sing better than that. I'm just like,
Thanks.
yeah. Well, it might be the track we used. And I just tuned it. Who
Do you
knows?
use Tune or do you use Melodyne?
Melodyne. Is tune. You mean like auto tune?
Auto tune. Yeah,
No.
auto tune
no,
is
no, no.
trash.
Auto-tune.
We use
I
Melodyne.
hate
yeah.
auto tune.
Unless you're
Makes you
trying to be
sound
a
so
Charlie
robotic.
XCX.
Yeah,
It can be cool for styles.
as its benefits.
Yeah.
It's an effect.
yeah, as its
It's an
benefits.
effect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a fixer.
I didn't want to be the
It shouldn't be a fixer.
Like the Julian Casablanca song. Yeah.
Oh,
With
yeah,
Daft
the
Punk.
Daft Punk song.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I love that song. John can vouch. I was like obsessed with
That
that,
kind of
song
sounded
for a
like you
little
were
bit.
doing Billy's Bounce for a second.
What'd you say? Oh, okay. I see.
No, I said never mind.
Music nerd shit.
I see.
Sorry, I went to music school. Probably suck at making music.
Can we talk about that though? I feel like a lot of
Yes.
people that went to music school
Oh my
suck.
god.
Yeah, it's
So
A lot of people
worst.
making music suck. It's
No,
crazy.
but specifically music school, like you paid so much money to go to music school, and like,
You get all in your head.
or like I don't know,
they just weren't ever good.
I don't get it.
there are also a lot of people that are good, but
Super.
also there are tons that are like, you went to music school?
Yeah.
But there are like I know a lot of people that are really good that are like making a really good living. And
Oh,
went to
fuck yeah,
music
dude.
school.
If you have that in you, I mean, if you just fuel it, you're going to be successful. Well, you
I
have a
think-
much better chance
I
of being
honestly
successful.
think all the people that are bad are there's either one of two reasons. One, you were never gonna be good because you just aren't. You're not actually in love with it. You might think you are, but you just don't love it like you think you do. Or two, you take it way too seriously and there's no heart.
Yep.
I
Yeah.
think it's one of those two things. You're just not meant to do it, or you just are taking it way too seriously.
Yeah, that's why I like Shades of Blue. It's like it sounds like I don't know. Like I said, I listened to a bunch of punk rock growing up, and it's raw, and it seems super genuine. And you got your like lane, and it's gonna grow and adapt, and it's just gonna become whatever you want it to be.
Hell yeah, brother.
You know, as long as Dylan can keep
Pumping
chopping
them
it
out.
up. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know, man.
Well's running dry.
I only know the pentatonic scales.
Keep it that way.
What is that?
What I hate the most, and it's actually fucked up because I don't want to hate anything. Like with music, I always want to support people making music because it is expression, and I want people to feel like anyone can do it because anyone can. But when I see people who are like already kind of famous influencers trying to dive into music, almost as like oh, now I can do this kind of thing.
Yeah.
That to me is kind of tough to watch sometimes, depending on who it is. Like for instance, a great example is the Stranger Things guy. He was way famous. He makes cool music.
I like Joe, though.
Fucking sick music though. But
Yeah,
he's good.
He's so
Yeah.
good.
You know who's making music now? Is the guy from Shark Tank.
What?
Yeah, have you seen that?
Mr.
The
Wonderful?
bald guy.
Mr. Wonderful?
Is that his name? I don't know. The bald guy
Yeah,
from
Mr. Wonderful.
Shark Tank. Yeah.
Well, he
He's,
always
like,
he always
posting-
played guitar, but
He's
is he,
posting like videos now of him like making really
How old is
shitty
he?
music.
does he sing?
Must be 50
he
or something.
singing?
No, he doesn't sing, but he like plays
plays
bass
guitar.
and like uses drum machines.
Is he
and
not
shit.
good at guitar?
He sucks
At guitar?
at everything.
Oh man,
In
he
my
talks
opinion.
about how much he loves it all the time.
I know he seems genuinely into it,
Yeah.
which
That's
like
okay.
I kind of
I mean, he doesn't need to do.
Even if you
he
suck,
doesn't.
He doesn't need to do
He
shit.
doesn't need
yeah.
to do shit. He's probably. Yeah, he probably doesn't. Really
I just
care.
thought it was funny.
Yeah.
But there's power in not having much, or like being like not unhappy is probably not the best word, but like the drive that comes from. I'm sure you have this. Like, but before I ask you if you have it, I'm gonna tell you how I have it. Like, but there's that feeling of like your daily life where you wake up and you're like tired or whatever, and then all of a sudden you have an idea, or you just think about music and like what you want to do with it, and you're like, I gotta fucking move.
Yeah.
Dude, I gotta get this shit done. We gotta make some whatever TikToks, or we gotta record this new song or whatever it is. Like there's a drive in it if you haven't already made it in life or whatever you consider made it. You could be a millionaire and be fucking miserable and be like, all I've ever wanted to do is make music.
Yeah.
And you dedicate your life to it, and you could come up that way.
Yeah, there's a beautiful thing about that. Yeah, but I think about music every day.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I might not like practice or, you know, I'm not in a session all the time, or I might not be like making a song every day, but I think about it every day, like almost all day.
Yep.
And that's through the music I listen to. I think of, oh, this is a really cool line, or oh, like this is an interesting way they made this song, or oh, what can I post on TikTok, or oh, like I'll have like a line that I think is cool and I'll write it down in notes and like different little things like that. But it's every day, every hour.
Does it stress you out ever? Or is it always an enjoyable thing? Because for me, it stresses me out a little bit sometimes, like the whole, like, I need to do this now kind of thing.
Well, I have no choice. I can't like do it now. You know, like I rely on Dylan too much.
Sure, but I guess I mean of like, oh, I have to write today, or I have to get better at this today. Or is it just like you're just flowing? Like,
No,
this is just
I
who
think
am?
there needs to be space in
Yeah.
between. You know, I don't think that like if you overdo it too much, I think that most of what you make will probably not be good. I think, yeah, I don't know. I don't stress myself out about it anymore. I'm not like, because I used to be like that. I used to be like, I have to release a song a month for 2 years and do it like this and blah, blah, blah. And like, I was like really anxious about it. And I was really anxious about like, time's ticking and I got to make it and I got to do, and then I just stopped caring so much about it. And I just more so try to like do the best I can when I'm doing it. And,
That's really healthy.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it took a long time before it got to that.
Yeah.
And it took a lot of like humbling, I think.
Do you think like if you have a job outside of music, it helps you?
No.
See, I think it does.
I don't think so.
I think what you're talking about, like that space.
Yeah.
I think having something that's not related to music that you do, that you still try to get good at, whatever it is, or like just to support yourself in life, I think it gives you the space to where you're forced to not obsess over music and get too in your head about it, and then you come back and you have the ability to like really express yourself. It's like
No,
a switch in
I
your brain.
totally understand that. But for me, I'd rather spend 3 weeks and do it like intensively and like make a whole album in that 3 weeks, and then spend the rest of the year living life and really absorbing different experiences than spend the whole year going to your job 5 days a week, trying to like pay for mixes, trying to pay for like music production, trying to pay for this, trying to pay for that, trying to get rent, trying to do this. I'd rather that like music just be my whole life, do it for 3 weeks, go
Escape.
travel, tour.
We'd probably make a full album in 3 weeks.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I
think we would be able to finish an album if we had 3 weeks locked in.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I'd rather do that than, because then also I think the sound is like cohesive to an album, in a short amount of time. But like, I'd rather that than have to go to work, because I feel like my job sucks the soul out of me.
I think most jobs, like if it's work, like it's work.
Yeah, and it sucks. Like I'd rather just, pump it out, get everything out in that amount of time, and then
Pause.
Again.
Sorry,
You're like,
I love what you were
You're
saying,
like Shaq.
but that was some execution right there. And dude, I see why you guys argue.
Like
Keep
Shaq.
Keep going.
no, it's true. But I'd rather
Sorry.
I'd rather just get it out as soon as I can instead of having to, slave away. I think that if I could make all of my money from music, I could live a lot more life.
Yeah, that's the dream, though.
Yeah.
Like I guess I'm coming at it from more of a perspective of like you're hungry and you're going to get more done in the time you have because you know the pain you go through in a consistent basis to be able to make music. Like if you could make all your money from music and just pump that back into, investing in music, like that's the dream. That's what we're all trying to get to. And I think you're probably pretty close. Like, I mean, it seems like you're very much on your way. Like I think it's very cool. It's very cool to watch. But I do think there is something to when you're first starting out, like the hunger, maybe not first starting out, when you're on your journey, like having something that's like you walk away from, like you leave your job and you're like, oh my God, I get to make music now. Like you appreciate it. And then you see some people who work in music all the time and they don't have that like spark to them, depending on who they are. Like no one in this room is that. But like, I don't know. I just think you can't possibly take it for granted.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I get that, but I think it's also really easy to get complacent,
Yeah.
It's really easy, and I think the artists that make it in music and are just kind of don't have that spark anymore, maybe they just weren't in it for the right reasons. Maybe they were in it for the money.
Is that a thing?
What?
Like in it for the money?
Yeah.
Like, that to me
It seems
impossible.
impossible, but some people.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of people are in music just to be famous. And some people are just inherently talented and make a song really well and get famous, and then that's all they really care about. And that's probably why, they don't have that same spark. But I think that, I forgot where I was going with this, but
happens all the time.
Yeah.
I do that way too often. You said a lot of really good things there.
Okay, cool.
You're very good at this, by the way.
Thanks, man.
I think this is the first episode where I'm like, wow, I haven't had to talk nearly as much as usual.
Yeah.
So you're doing great.
Sweet.
But yeah, so okay, I kind of want to get back into, you made your first song when you released, I Tattered Scars, Heart of Tattered Scars. Okay. When you released that, like, did it blow up at all?
Fuck no.
Okay.
Not even at all.
'Cause it is
1,000
now.
streams after 2 months.
Something like that. Yeah. But I like it did better than the next 4 songs did and on the first day. Like the first day it did like 140 streams.
Okay.
And I was like, woo.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then
yeah.
after that it just did like maybe 40 or 30 streams a day for like 9 months.
That's still solid. Like, honestly, like that's still, for your first song, like, that's pretty solid. Like,
Yeah, I mean, but the thing is, like, my expectations were so high. I was like, this is gonna fucking blow up. It's gonna take the world by storm. And then it doesn't, and you're just like crushed. And I was like, the next song will take the world by storm.
Keep chasing that high.
It doesn't. And then the fucking next song is gonna do it.
You just gotta keep going.
And then the fucking this EP is gonna blow everyone away. It fucking doesn't.
Well, it's just ears. That's how I feel about it. And that, okay, the next thing I want to ask about is like, so when you think of, I always hear like record labels and big artists will not buy streams, but they will have their music placed. Like they'll like be able to somehow get their music placed on playlists or things like that.
They have direct connections to Spotify.
Yeah, like that is like a crazy advantage. Like, I guess, what are your thoughts on that? Like, do you think that's like, would you do that? Someone came to you and said like, hey, if you give me this much money, we'll place your music here.
No,
as
because
an
it's a
independent
scam.
artist, that's how I feel too.
That's a
But people still
scam.
do
If
it.
someone does that, like that's a scam. But with Spotify, it's just like a direct connection to like a label or distributor, and you know they can hit up someone at Spotify and be like, oh, this artist is getting so and so amount of traction on social media. These are the playlists that I feel like this song would fit really well in, and like they kind of give Spotify everything they need to know, and then Spotify is like they'll listen to it and be like, oh yeah, this is a decent enough song for these playlists. Put them on the playlist. They'll give them the like cover photo, and like if they do qualify, you know, and then they'll be the cover of a playlist. But I mean, that's just it's just different. Like the thing that's cool now is that you can still do that without a label.
Yep.
You know, you just need like maybe a more independent distributor. Like I have Too Lost, and they're really great. You know,
Really?
yeah, Too Lost, and like they put me as a priority artist, and I don't have to like split any of my royalties with them, and I get you know direct contact with a products manager who directly pitches to Spotify, and that's like one way to do it. You
Holy
know,
shit, I didn't know that existed. We've been using DistroKid.
I mean, DistroKid is fine, but you're
Yeah.
not gonna get the possibility of a Spotify playlist as much because you're competing with
Fucking millions of people.
what is it, like 60,000 songs a day
Yeah.
that are going through DistroKid.
Yeah.
Like it's just not gonna do it.
How'd you find them?
I have some friends in the music industry, so I asked one of them. I was like, "Oh, what distributor are you going through?" And then he put me in contact with someone who worked at Too Lost, and then they put me on as a priority artist.
Question:
wow.
Was the person Alex?
Mm-mm.
No. One of my friends, and I didn't know this until a couple months ago, or maybe like 6 months ago, I went to school with, and he's like the co-CEO of Too Lost, and I had no idea.
That's sick.
And I had no idea until I saw him post something about him like winning a award for it.
Shit.
Too Lost is big now. It's growing a lot. It's like a pretty big distributor.
Shout out
Good to know.
Alex Silverstein.
I went to
Shout out.
music school with him as a kid.
Yeah, he's like the co-creator of Too Lost.
Oh wow,
Hit him up, Neal.
that's crazy. Yeah, maybe. What up?
Yeah.
Haven't talked to you in like 20 years.
Hey, I'm in a band. We young
Sure, he
children.
gets that like every day.
Yeah, it's
But
part of it. Doesn't hurt.
yeah, that's one way to do it.
I didn't even know that existed. I thought you just had to go through whatever distributor like you picked. I didn't think it made much of a difference. I thought labels like obviously make a difference, but
Labels make a difference, I think, in providing monetary value to your project. You know, they'll market your song but they won't do anything unless you actually start getting traction. There's like a reason to market it.
mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
Of course, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, either way for me, like playlists don't make much of a difference. Like they don't
No.
move the needle at all. You know,
No,
like
yeah. I got my first music I released, like got put on a bunch of playlists, and it's still being added to playlists like nonstop. I'm like very confused by it, honestly. It's very cool. if it's folk music, I like it. It's fun, but like by no means did that give me like a legitimate following.
Yeah, no.
You know, like at one point I had like 25,000 monthly listeners, and I was just like, holy fucking shit! Like, what do I do with this? And it's like nothing. Like, there's nothing I could. I wasn't getting followers on Instagram. I wasn't getting like. I had a few people reach out that were just like random people who heard my music, and that felt awesome, like getting DMs and shit. But by no means did that like kick off a career for me
at all. No, and like once you're off the playlist, your monthlies drop drastically.
Completely. Yeah.
What's cool with my music is that like because everyone's from TikTok, they know the name directly, and they went. You know, I think there's like a certain kind of like you want to engage more with this artist, or you feel like this song is more valuable to you because you've had to wait this amount of time for the song to come out, and then you had to go on Spotify yourself, search my name up, find the song, press play, listen to the song, you really like it, you add it to your library, versus like you put on Lorem and you press play and like it's just playing in the background.
Yeah.
You know, there's like, sure, it'll inflate your numbers, but like that's why my monthlies have stayed between like, I want to say like 35,000 to like 70,000 for the past like year and a half. Kind of plateaued after so long, but yeah, basically like that's if you're added to a playlist, you're gonna have like maybe 100,000 monthly listeners or 700,000 monthly listeners, and then you're back down to 60,000.
And that's like embarrassing a little bit, like to me, like a little bit, like
it's fucking embarrassing.
That's fucking embarrassing, bro.
No,
You looked like a big artist for a second, and then you actually weren't.
Yep, that's exactly what it is. Like, and it's funny. Like, I remember when exactly that happened to me, and I was just like, well, fuck, what do I say about this? Like, I remember like thinking, like, is this real? Like, what's going on? I was like looking at locations of listeners, like, okay, that's real. Okay, cool. And like DMs would make me feel like, oh, thank God, like this is real. You know, that kind of thing.
There's some real people here.
Yeah, you want that. And that's why I'm cool with Celestial with where we're at now. Like, we don't have a lot of listeners, but to me, it's like we have a shit ton of music to release. We have all these ideas. Like, we have a music video coming out. We do the podcast. Like, I'd rather be something that someone finds and they're like, oh shit, I found this band that like nobody knows about.
Yeah.
And then grow with them. Yeah. Than just like all of a sudden randomly like boom. I mean, I would love to go boom. Like to go boom would be sick. Like get on a tour and stuff like that.
Boom.
Like, yeah, that would be sick. But for the right reasons, right? Like, and also the thing is like if you blow up with 4 songs out, you know, it's like, oh shit, you know, is your mind are you gonna get fucked with in your head of like when you're writing, like, oh, people like this, so maybe I should make stuff.
Yeah, it definitely fucks
point.
with you.
Yeah,
it fucks with you for sure. I struggle with that a lot sometimes, where like you kind of blow up for one song and then you're like, well, should the next songs be exactly the same? Yeah.
No, from a listener's perspective,
that'd be natural.
From a listener's perspective, Pablo, dude, like I really enjoy your music. Like I'm a legit fan. Like I think it's awesome what you're doing. But like knowing you as a person, like seeing you, just like you're very creative, and you can do whatever you want. I really think like I mean, I'm not giving you advice, but I would like to see you do whatever you want with music because you're unique, and uniqueness comes with unique music. Like you can go make an album that's like post-punk if you want to easily. You would crush it in like that genre. And then you can go make stuff like you're doing now, more dancey stuff. You can do whatever the fuck you want, dude. Like you're an artist. Like
I agree, but I do want like I want to be I agree with that, but I do think to have longevity, at least having a consistent sound in the beginning, you know,
no, I
think
agree
that
with that
works really well. At least having a consistent album, like doing Tyler the Creator with that album is like its own thing, and it like all sounds really cohesive. And then you move on to the next album. But when you're doing it by like single by single, and like I have to like release one EP and then the next EP and then the next EP because I can't afford to do 12 songs at once, you know. So it's kind of it's hard to navigate doing that, and that kind of goes back to being able to like me wanting to be able to do all the songs in 3 weeks and then live life, and then, you know, maybe do another 3 weeks and then live life, and then, you know, so it's a hard thing to juggle.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. Do you know Swaco?
I know of him.
Swaco, bitch. Yeah, he's like, I was always really impressed by him because like he was like a like producer, like kind of rapper, like very unique kind of music. I don't even know what you'd really call it.
Kind of emo rap.
Yeah. And then he came out with like a punk
album essentially. And like when I first heard it, I found it on TikTok and I was like, what the fuck is this? And I was just so impressed with like the divergence he took. You know, he was already like kind of doing okay, but then we did that. He just like blew up. And it was funny. I went and saw Oliver Tree and Swaco opened for him. And I had no idea. And like Oliver Tree goes up, he's like, that was Swaco's first show ever. In front of like 5,000 fucking people.
Oh, that's sick.
I was like, Jesus Christ, like that's impressive, you know? But it was like a gamble, obviously. You know, he already had that kind of a thing going. And he's like, you know, I can sing really well, apparently. And he just put that out. And I just thought that was really impressive.
That is cool. That is cool.
Yeah, so all right. We're getting close to the end here. Like any messages you want to give just in general? I mean, besides like shout outs, like obviously go listen to Shades of Blue. They're fucking awesome. They're fucking awesome.
Thanks, man. Any messages? I would say whatever you do, just keep doing it and just keep pushing. And, you know, that's what I think separates like artists that really make it and artists that don't, is that like the ones that don't quit too soon and the ones that do just kept pushing and just kept trying and just kept going and did everything in their power to, you know, make it in music. And like, I think being brutally honest with yourself, I think being brutally honest with yourself too, with your music, and just being like, maybe this isn't as good. Maybe I need to like, you know, improve in this aspect or improve in that aspect or do this, you know? And I think, just keep going.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's a great point, and Celestial will take note of that for sure.
Yeah. We're in it for the long run.
Yeah, absolutely. We got a
You
lot
have to
going on.
be.
Yeah.
Yeah, so stream Shades of Blue. Amazing music. We'll close it out. This will be the second podcast with Shades of Blue as the intro, outro. So if that's cool with you, as long as you're cool with us using it, we'll just put it at the end or at the beginning too. It's a great.
What song?
Last time I did B-side. This time I want to do Tattered Scars.
Nice.
Good call.
Yeah.
Heart of tattered scars.
I love the solo in it too.
She said.
Did you do that?
Sticks to me.
All right. Any more shout outs? Yeah, go stream Celestial too.
Chrome Hearts.
We're pretty good, you know. Well, cool. Love you. Peace out, everybody.
I'll never shine again. Eternal sunshine on my mind, and I sigh when I look at kill my time. You see the sunset on my relationship with her. Pupils wide, she's mosaic on my mind. I'm on the doorstep. Detached, it's like 1,000 needles etching in my back. Too much, our life escapes me now. I'm fading into black. Heart of tattered scars, choked on what she said. Sticks to me like clay, suffocate my lungs. These veins pump black and tar. I'll never shine again. Heart of tattered scars, ash on burning skin. Will I feel again? Suffocate my lungs. These veins pump black and tar.